90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. You are tuned in to another episode of the Diary Room.
The diary room.
Thank you. From host Chris, and I am Emol, and we are very excited to be back on your airwaves. This week we had a little bit of tech problems in our diary room. We got locked into the diary room, and our last couple episodes were on our YouTube. But here we are, airwaves, in your ears. Unless you're watching us on YouTube, then we're in your face. Ah!
Jump scare.
Ah! Anyway, like I said, I am your host, Emol, joined with your other host.
Chris, just Chris, always Chris, still Chris, been Chris, will forever be Chris. Just Chris, still here in the diary room. We're still locked in for another week. Week number 4.
Mm-hmm.
Week 4.
And what a week
We're
it
still
was.
here. Our rations
Yes.
are running out. Please send help. We're almost dead.
Please. Well, not me though. Stay safe, for I am a have. But for how long, we shall discuss soon. But right now, I am still wearing the crown of victory, and Chris has chef hat of shame for
Hmm.
Chris's draft pick. Kennison was
Kennison
evicted last week, but well,
by an evoke of
but
13.
and we shall figure out who will be our next half not. But we have a lot to talk about before we get there.
A
So,
lot. Like a metric ton. Like way too much. This is a long week. Uh,
because a lot of things happen, but let's jump right into a week ago. A whole week ago. We're going to start with last Sunday's episode. It started off all the things, and my first note was the fact that Quinn did in fact call Kenny Kennison, and I laughed so much that I had to make a note of this. And,
Kennison.
well, he's gone. Goodbye, Kennison. Reunited with his family, by the way.
Why is it always me?
Hearts for Kennison. Can I do
Hearts
it?
for
Hearts for
Kennison.
Kennison.
There we go. I think you have to take it out of your face.
There's
If it's
this,
like,
there's this heart because that's in my room.
oh, that wasn't the thing.
No, that's actually in my room. Anyway, Hearts for Kennison
Anyways,
reunited with his family, though I saw via social media Kenny's wife does not approve of Kenny's gameplay whatsoever and is very
well,
disappointed.
really?
Very disappointed that he's back home, which
Ah!
I thought was very funny. But
That's funny.
back to the game. Back to
Back to the
who
game.
is in the game. HOH comp a week ago, our brand new HOH, after, you know, being saved from the block by Tucker, and everyone's like, oh no, not her, don't save her. Well, guess who saved herself this time? None other but Angela.
The first two-time HOH in the season, only taking 2 weeks in between. By the way,
Mm-hmm.
balloons for Angela. What even caused that? Was it my peace sign?
I
I
think
think
so.
it was the peace sign. But anyway, the first two-time HOH is the most hated. I think that's so silly. Everybody hates Angela for some reason. I kind of like her now.
I
She's on
kind
my
of
good side.
I've always liked Angela, and
I wasn't really a big fan of her.
it's so much fun because, again, different social media platforms. Some people absolutely love her, and some people say like they will not watch the show until she leaves. Well, she took care of that this week because she's staying. So if you don't want to watch because Angela's there, I'm sorry you're missing out on all this fun that happened this week
Yeah.
because Angela wins the bad AI comp. Can you remind me of what the comp was?
Oh, of course I will. So basically the bad AI competition was a little spoof on the fact that AI generation is terrible. And so they gave the house guests a 1v1 style tournament participation um, competition in which they had two people face off on podiums, and on the screen in front of them, there were three pictures, and one of those photos had a little like a, a misgeneration. um, so like maybe the person had an extra hand, or the something in the background was a little silly, whatever that be. And the two players facing off against each other had to find that specific photo, which of the three was messed up, and choose that one. And whoever won got to pick the next two people to face off. Uh, and they just did that until there was one person left, and Miss Angela ended up becoming the HOH for the week. Hands for Angela.
Despite being picked pretty much every round that she could,
hmm That she
because
was good at it.
mhm, the house guests they picked her to go up against someone else because they wanted to give her the most chances to lose. Yet she did not. She did not lose. I I was impressed by her. I'm proud of
I
Angela.
I'm very proud of Angela, and I'm very angry at Brooklyn is very quickly becoming my least favorite house guest. Um, I think she's probably I would say that she is my least favorite now,
Hmm.
by a very, 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 very large margin.
Wow.
Even more than like even though Leia is doing nothing, she's aligned. She's buddy buddy with Joseph,
Hmm.
and that makes me happy. So Leia is on my good side, but Brooklyn
By
has done
comparison.
nothing but whine and complain, and she got so mad at Angela for picking her in the
Hmm.
competition where you have to pick people, and you pick the person you're not aligned with, and then you still get mad at her.
Hmm. Yeah. There I fear this will not be the last of this anti-Brooklyn sentiment. That's the end of that statement for now.
For now.
But yeah, no, that was interesting. You could only pick so many people. She took it very personally. Like, why are you picking me? And then Angela's up there like pretty much every round.
Yeah, she
So
was
she
up
can
there like
say the
five
same
times.
thing. And so, regardless of this, Angela perseveres and she becomes the new head of household for this week. And she nominates. Wait one second. Wait one second. So she does have, by the way, Angela has her one on ones, trying to figure out who she's going to nominate. But there's this silly little thing named Quinn. And so,
Thing. It's a silly little thing.
so the week prior, it was exposed to the whole house that Quinn has this deepfake HOH power that he got originally on premiere week. And what the house guests, I believe, don't know is this is the last week that Quinn could actually use this power. So basically, Quinn was going to use this or it was just going to be washed. But now the whole house is aware that Quinn has this. And there's this target on his back for a lot of people. I'm thinking even neutral people are like, well, he's got a power. And he didn't tell me about it. A lot of people were upset about that. So Angela, after Quinn utilizes this power, really doesn't have much going on except being safe for the week, which I think is still great. I think she could still use it. I think it was fantastic for Angela. She gets all the perks of the HOH room, having good snacks, full stocked fridge up there, and just gets to sit pretty while Quinn does all the damage in in Angela's name. because what we were speculating before is what would this deepfake HOH look like if Quinn were to use it? And it is exactly as I pictured it and more, where Quinn enacted this deepfake and they and Big Brother then displayed an AI generated Angela in Ainsley's containment chamber and Angela, a fake Angela, talked to the house, nominating the three house guests that Quinn actually nominates. And thank goodness Angela made sure that everyone knew it wasn't her because she kept mentioning that as AI Angela was nominating three people. That's not me. I wouldn't
That's not
do
me.
I wouldn't do that. That was my favorite part of that episode because I couldn't tell if she was being genuine or not.
No,
Like
she definitely was.
she was
There's actually no way.
there's no
I think
way
it was
that
so silly.
like she wow, she really had us fooled.
She's just trying to be so nice. She's
So
like, oh my gosh, I would never to you
I would
guys.
never. So Angela, I guess, did not. She thought that she would have to nominate people, and
Hmm.
that she would nominate people, and then if the deepfake HOH was used, it would take those people off, and there would be a new process. But didn't know that there was none of that. So her one-on-ones were for nothing. Quinn had his own one-on-ones, I have to mention, all dressed up like a cartoon villain with like the glasses and wearing like a suit. It was something in the have not room,
Mm-hmm.
which is funny too because the have not room is right next to the HOH room. So it's like these double like interviews happening back to back with a cartoon villain versus a mom.
The
And
Angela.
and
And he
so Angela
chooses his champion.
and Angela in this box, though she says that's not her, I would never do this. AI Angela ultimately nominates Tucker, Mackenzie, and Cedric.
Champion Cedric.
Champion Cedric, who volunteered
He did volunteer
to be where where he
to be
is.
the pawn and to take down evil Tucker.
Dun dun dun.
Evil Tucker. Ah.
And so yeah, Tucker is
That
ultimately
wraps.
the person to go after at this moment, and Cedric's just supposed to be there looking pretty. And Mackenzie doesn't really have anyone at this moment, so she's just kind of chilling up there. And you're right. Thus wraps the
That really
Sunday
wraps Sunday.
episode.
The pieces are in play.
They are.
Is a good episode though. But moving on
Well,
over to Tuesday.
moving on over to Tuesday, that happened.
Yep.
So moving on to Wednesday. No, we'll go back. We'll go back. So last time we mentioned Tuesday, a bonus episode. I had a feeling we wouldn't have a whole lot to talk about, and we really don't. The hosts were previous winners, Jag, Taylor, and Cody. In my opinion, it was pretty much a useless recap episode for me because I've been watching this whole time. It didn't really make a lot of sense. What they didn't really show a lot of insight that I didn't see before. I think maybe there were a couple clips of like T-Core and Chemo maybe that we like didn't see before.
Yeah.
And like it was funny though the at the beginning they're in basically the comp room that they use for like AI Arena. That's where this little like podcast essentially took place. And Jag's like, it's like meeting a celebrity when seeing Ainsley. I'm like, it's like meeting a box. It's just a box in the corner. And so Ainsley will come up again because the big promise of this episode was, watch on Tuesday because you're going to find out about the next big twist of the season. And that was how to get people to watch this episode. At the very end of the episode, Ainsley is like, the next twist is called AI Instigator. See you tomorrow. Like, that was it. Like, at the
Yep.
end of the episode, it's like, this is the name of the twist. Do with that what you
They
will.
did say
Bye.
as well that it had to do with America's voting as well.
That is true.
But that's it.
That's all we really
That's all.
got.
But
So,
usually,
mm,
I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like a nothing burger, regardless of what they told us.
nothing on that
Because
burger.
if we didn't get anything else, like they could have said literally nothing and it wouldn't have done anything.
I
So
think
that
they were
was
worried,
Tuesday.
like, no one, like, we wouldn't watch it.
Yeah.
Because I think it was really meant for people who were caught up in Olympics. They haven't been doing anything. But at the end of this, this was really just an excuse to show Angela's crazy eyes speech at Matt again and utilize the funny haha of Angela and then Tucker using the veto on her. It was really just to get more airtime on those two
Of
bits.
like the moments, yeah.
And that was that was Tuesday. Wow. Ugh, I'm worn out after that discussion. That's all we got on Tuesday. Just because they needed more programming, I guess. But we
Yay!
made it to Wednesday.
Wednesday time,
Look at
Wednesday
us
time, Wednesday
go.
time,
Right.
Wednesday time. Huge Wednesday, massive Wednesday, probably one of the bigger Wednesdays. We did get some super important Alliance information. This was like Alliance week. Like this week, they focused very, very heavily on finally solidifying all of the various alliances that people have been talking about, but haven't really like did the whole official we're together guys. So we got a lot of screen time, a lot more screen time for chemo and T-Core specifically. Not as much T-Core because T-Core has been like Quinn's right hand lady. But chemo has been kind of in the background this entire season. And I would say that he has redeemed himself at this point. Um, we had the resurgence of the collective this week. We had Joseph was the one who orchestrated this. So hats off to my man. Hats off to Joseph. Um, he had said that he was picking up the pieces and he formed the Super Alliance back, but instead of Angela, because she did not want to be a part of the low budget movie cast. Your perform your performance was great for a low budget movie. Oh, that I saw the heart in the back. I thought it was
Yeah.
an effect. So we subbed in Brooklyn for Angela in the collective. Um,
Collective 2.0, if
and
you
we
will.
also got some what would you call it? Would you call it a showman's? Would you call it what would we say this is?
This is a showmance, but it's referred to as a flirtmance.
Is that
What
like
is
an
the
online?
difference? Is it like, oh, it's not official yet, we're just flirting? If that is not, ugh, I don't want to, ugh.
There
I've
were
seen too much for it to be any less than a showmance.
yeah, they were like so adamant on it not being anything. But I know what you are, Tucker.
I know what you
I know
are.
what you uh so Rubina and Tucker are a thing. That wasn't at all shown in Sunday, right? This was new on
It was
Wednesday, I
not, it
believe.
very much
Yeah.
happened before
On a
Sunday.
whim.
And I guess they were not prepared to show it just yet. And then they did. And so Tubina is now in existence. Uh,
Rubina. That's funny.
and um I can't go into detail about what I know about their air quotes flirtmance or whatever's going on because it's too much. Too
Oh,
much
really?
for the FCC. Um, and I don't know. They're okay. My opinions. I like Rubina. I think she's a cutie, and I do
Yeah.
love Tucker. So I'm
Hmm.
not upset about it.
Yeah.
But the hard thing is that I feel like on the edits at least, it was a bit that like we never saw Rubina. She was not given like diary room time. She
Hmm.
wasn't mentioned by name. At some point when Matt was evicted, that Matt's parents were mentioned more than Rubina was.
Hmm.
Now, as house guests leave, of course, there's going to be more air time for
For the
everybody.
remaining ones, yeah.
But I think it's unfortunate that the majority of what we've seen from Rubina is just her attachment to Tucker. Now, I don't know if that's just because that's all she's done. I fear it could be. Do some more, please, because now, so early in the game, you are just now attached at the hip with this guy, despite if like they're on the show saying, "Oh, I don't want to be in a, I don't want to be like just associated with this person or whatever." It's like, well, it's too late. Yeah. My Siri from across the room said, "What's up?" Yeah. Rubina is stop talking to me. Rubina, in my opinion, I under stop. She said, "I'm having trouble with the connection. Please try again later."
Maybe it's Ainsley.
Maybe it's Ainsley's listening right now.
She's listening.
Ainsley clearly is a fan of Tubina and doesn't want me to complain about it, but I am just complaining because I fear that Rubina is just gonna be taken along with Tucker, and then like what? Then they end up at final two, and then what has she
And
done
Tucker
if
wins.
she's exactly? Which I mean, personally, I love Tucker. I'd like to see him win, but I'd also like girl power. Come on, like do more. Be yourself. I hope that they could be looked at as individual players, and I fear that they're just going down this like path of like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's just his showmance. That's all Rubina is because I think she's a cutie. I loved the bit. I felt represented with the bit when she was getting the
The
protein
the
power
protein powder
powder.
on the fridge. The
I was
sound
I was like,
effects.
if because I deal with similar things where we have stuff on top of my fridge and I can't reach it. I have to open the fridge door to get me closer to the shelf, and then I could grab something off the top shelf. I was like, Rubina, just open the door. She can't hear me, but I thought that was funny. But she still got it because she doesn't need a man. She doesn't need a
Or a
man
ladder.
or a ladder. Though she's asked
Production.
production for a ladder, and they're not gonna give it to her.
I
Which we
wonder
will.
if they will.
We're gonna have to get back to her vertical disadvantage in the third. We're gonna get there later because I have words. I have words. But anyway, I'm yapping too much about
It's
this
it's
so-called
okay.
flirtmance.
We're
But
we're here for it. We're here for Tubina.
we're here for
We're here to
Tubina.
talk about Tubina. Um,
Before we get into veto, do we want to talk about the one other bit that I have?
the other bit, this was one of my favorite bits.
Please
We
take the
got
bit.
we got a Leah and Joseph moment. Um, Currently my front runner, favorite house guest, Joseph. Absolute. They always talk. I don't know why it always comes down to making fun of how unfit Joseph is, but it's okay, Joseph. I know that you're like you are peak male physique. It's okay. It's okay, bro.
We'll allow it,
We'll allow
says
it.
Chris.
Because Leah decides to do like a monologue. She had her own like I guess it was a monologue because Joseph was kind of just like laying
Just
there.
kind of there. It was like a play.
Yeah. And she was like, I that we have so many great competitors in this house, and it does like a jump cut to all like the super like people like working out and
The
everything,
dude
and
bros.
she was like, I choose to take it through R&R, rest and relaxation. Joseph is just like,
Wow.
and so Leah has kind of just owned the floater mentality. And honestly, I can't even like be mad at it because like sometimes you have a floater who's just like, I'm not a floater. I'm so valuable. I do so much. And they really aren't. But Leah is just owning it. So
Hmm.
like good for her. Um,
I feel like it is good because I mean, Matt was there for like 30 seconds. There was this connection between Matt and Mackenzie and Leah. And
mhm,
now it's like, oh no, Matt left. What to do now? Probably the best thing to do is just chill, lay
yeah.
low, because you were kind of in the spotlight for a little bit. Not even her as much as Mackenzie, who's like obviously still dealing with that to an extent because she's on the block. Leah's just chilling. And I refer to this as the Leah and Joseph versus the world moment. Just like staring up at the sky with like sunglasses and whatever. It's like, yeah, we're just gonna chill out. But yeah, I guess they're owning up to it. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's
I think
whatever.
that Joseph is we don't value him as much as we should. Um, 'Cause I mean like we'll get to it because I have thoughts and this is big Sunday moment. But with resurging the collective, putting that all together and the stuff that happened on Sunday, I think we're gonna see some big moves from my man. So I wouldn't rule him out just yet.
We will
But
not count out Joseph.
let's talk about the veto.
The biggest
It's
part of the
time for the
night,
veto competition.
the the binary bridge, or as I refer to it as the Squid Games,
Squid Games.
because it's basically the same game of just these two rows and you gotta guess which one is the correct one, and if not, you fall through the glass and you die. Except they didn't kill anyone, they just had to restart. And so who played this game again? We had all
It
the
was
nominees. Quinn, despite being the deepfake HOH, was not guaranteed to play in this game. Angela was. So she
yes.
played and she picked people, but she picked out two of the nominees' names so that they got to pick people to play. Who were the other two?
It was one of them, Joseph. Joseph
Mm-hmm.
was playing. And
Was it Brooklyn?
Tucker picked. Did Tucker pick Joseph? I think
I
he
think
picked
so,
Joseph.
because they're
Because
kind
I
of
remember
close.
Tucker picked somebody. Um, man,
Man,
who was the sixth person? I'm
I thought it was
actually at a
Brooklyn.
loss. It might have been, but at the same
Perchance?
time, I feel like it wasn't. Um, but either way, these 1v1 competitions are riveting. Go production for for just making spectacular competitions this year, especially this week. Are you researching, Miss Mole?
I am researching, but I will also
Researching.
say that despite my comparison to another game, I liked it. I was very curious on this game if anyone was going to look over at the other side and see if they could copy someone's path, because on either side it was the same like solution, like mirrored. And I loved
Mm-hmm.
the bit when it was Cedric and Mackenzie, and they're
And
like, "Well,
McKinney.
which one's gonna go first?" Which one's gonna fail? I thought that was a funny bit. I liked that.
I'm pretty
Um,
sure it might have actually been Chelsea.
was it Chelsea?
I think it was Chelsea. It was.
No, it was Brooklyn because it was Cedric versus Brooklyn, Mackenzie versus Angela, and Joseph versus Tucker,
Oh,
which was funny because that means that the two nominees, so Cedric and Tucker, who got to pick people to play in the veto, were at random draw, so they say, were paired against the person that they picked. So like Cedric handpicked Brooklyn to play in the veto, and production happened to pick Cedric versus Brooklyn in like the very first round. The way that they did it was interesting too, because whoever had the fastest time got to bypass the second round. So of that was Tucker. Of course it was Tucker. Like I wasn't surprised at that. And then we had the Cedric versus Mackenzie moment where Cedric kind of looked at what Mackenzie was doing and then she had to restart when he got really lucky and gets like the last two tiles. And so we had this epic showdown of Cedric versus Tucker. And the whole week they're like, "Yeah, I'll see you in the AI arena, bro. Yeah,
bro.
you and me, bro." Because this is left over from last week when Tucker's mad at Cedric for not doing the plan that Cedric said he would not do. And so I think Tucker's time was like ridiculous in the first round. It was like a
It was
minute or
150. A minute
exactly
50.
a minute 50. Cedric was like beyond 3 minutes. So
But like his strategy was very like it was very intuitive and I didn't really think about it, but it was like the quickest way to do it super easily. Because you literally just remember it by like the amount of times you switch and not like the specific squares.
mm,
Like you go one switch, like one, and that's it. That's why it was the binary bridge,
ah,
because you count in ones.
I would like to think that I would have used a similar strategy. However, I wouldn't have realized it. I think I would
Yeah, I
just
don't think
like
I would have found it out either.
I think I would have like done something and be like, oh yeah, yeah, I did it. But there's no confidence that I would have ever beat Tucker in anything like this. And um, well, Tucker Tucker wins. What a surprise!
Hmm.
He wins the veto. Honestly, going into the competition, I had no doubt that the moment he was nominated, which again, I don't fully understand Quinn's reasoning. He was nominated, not backdoored, just straight up nominated. So now he's got the chance to win veto himself, take himself off. Someone else could win veto, take him off. Plus the AI arena. We were giving
Yeah, why
Tucker,
didn't he backdoor him?
we were giving him a lot of chances to get off the block immediately, and so he wins the veto. But after last week, we're meant to question, will he use it on himself because he did not last time? And so the veto comp ends, and he considers using the veto on someone else. I believe it would have been on Mackenzie, to see what would happen next. And who's the voice of reason but Angela? Which was very silly to me. I feel like it was a very mom moment of like I'm gonna sit my son down and tell him like not to make a stupid decision. It worked out last time, but you got lucky. He's like, no, I'm gonna do it. Like I'm just. He's like, I'm not gonna. I'm just thinking about it though. I'm just thinking about it though.
Just thinking.
But maybe, but what if I really do? And then so of course the edit continues, and we're questioning whether or not Tucker is going to use the veto on himself or if he's going to use it on Mackenzie just to see what would happen. I know at some point he was not convinced that Quinn, as the deepfake HOH, would be the one making the renoms, but I'm assuming at this point it was understood that he was because Tucker ends up using the veto, listens to Angela, uses it on himself. Ah,
Honestly, I think that he was just trolling
I think,
because he
yeah,
did say that he was like, "Oh, I got you, America."
exactly.
I feel like he was joking the whole time. But I mean, at the same time, it's not hard to spin it that way
Hmm.
because like that's the way he just is. Like he definitely thought about
Yeah.
it. He
The thing
definitely thought about it.
at this point, when this episode aired, I already knew what the outcome was. So I wasn't like super shocked. So I'm looking at this like, okay, they cut it that way. But the fact that we are in a season when someone uses the veto on himself, and that's a little bit shocking, is very interesting. And that's why I love this season. Because last week, we were talking about how like that never happens. The last couple seasons, the first like 2 or 3 weeks were basically unanimous votes too. This cast is already, crazy,
Shaking things up and
shaking
not
things up,
forming super alliance week 2 and just steamrolling the entire other half of the house.
which is good, and it makes it more entertaining.
Even though we do have a super alliance, sort of kind of right now,
Perchance,
perchance.
perchance.
We'll
Although
get to it
we're gonna
because
get
it's
there.
time, unless we have thoughts for Wednesday.
Well, the last thought of Wednesday is, of course, Tucker takes himself off.
Yes.
There has to be a replacement, replaced by AI Angela again, who real Angela is still in disbelief that she could possibly be doing this. The replacement is none other than Tucker's flirtmance, Rabina. Big womp, huge womp.
Womp.
That's the end of Wednesday. We don't really see a lot of Tucker like remorse. Like, oh, Rabina, I'm sorry. Like, I did this, and then you're up there. He kind of looks really cold in that edit, but I
Yeah,
do think that they talked about it. Like, I feel like it didn't come as a huge shock to Rabina or
I think
Tucker,
she knows.
but I
She's
am glad.
definitely thought about it. Like that, the fact
Mm,
that she's aligned with Tucker specifically, like, will put her in danger because
hmm.
of how volatile Tucker is. So she probably just like gets it on a game level.
And I'm glad that he still did it.
Yeah.
That we're not at a point where it's the same thing that I said 2 weeks ago with Mackenzie. I'm glad that she didn't use the power on Matt because like you just met this person. Please look out for your own game. But that is the end of Wednesday. We now have Rabina, Mackenzie, and Cedric up on the block.
Dun dun dun.
And thus we move into Thursday.
Big Thursday, huge Thursday,
Huge Thursday. And I will
massive
mention
Thursday.
that I did not watch on time, but I did get a text in all caps from Chris. Bro, did you see this episode?
Bro, did you see this episode?
To which I said, no, not yet. Shh. And I knew I was in for something. And boy, did something happen. All right. All right. So Thursday.
Big Thursday.
Thursday, there's this point where there are people that are chilling in like that room outside of the HOH room on the second floor.
Oh,
I note that Tucker is mentally preparing Rabina for the AI arena because at this point he's done it enough. He knows what kind of an idea of what someone could expect in that AI arena, which is funny because like I guess it makes sense. None of the other, unless you've been in the AI
I
arena, the house guests aren't seeing footage of it
Oh yeah, they don't know the
because they
competitions.
come down the stairs and they're like,
I didn't even
"Reveal
think
yourself."
about that.
I didn't realize that. I like forgot because often
Yeah,
if
they
there's a
don't sit
comp,
in on them.
if there
They're sitting in
exactly
on them.
on like veto, a lot of times like they'll just watch everything else. There's other comps. I don't know. Sometimes veto, maybe HOH too, when it's like individual. Sometimes
Hmm.
they'll show like the rest of the house like observing the
Like on the
gameplay.
TV.
They don't know what this looks like. And so that was an interesting point that was pointed out to the audience when Tucker was telling Rubina about like what they could expect. And
Hmm.
so we move into some alliance stuff. I still give you alliance stuff. I just want you to explain it and for me to giggle because I love
Well,
this.
we did get more alliance stuff. We start with silly or do we start with serious?
We start with
I say
serious
we start with serious
and then we transition
and
into
then we
the
move into
silly
the silly.
because I can't wait.
So, serious alliance notes. Quinn, Chemo, and T-Core, the Visionaries, is one of the core alliances in the entire house. Um, Quinn says he claims that his undying loyalty is to these two people, which I believe it.
Mm,
I believe that's how it comes off because we get a big bombshell this week, and it is that the T-Core and Chemo are aware of the Pentagon's existence. And as fellow members of the collective, which is just the Pentagon, the Visionaries, and Joseph, um, that is the big conglomerate of all of the Super Alliance people. And so Quinn tells T-Core and Chemo about the Pentagon, and it gets them thinking, we are at the bottom of this alliance. And if Quinn is a part of both of these alliances, then he's obviously the maestro. And so we get a whole thing where T Chemo and T-Core are kind of having an identity crisis. They're like, dang, we really are at the bottom here. And
hmm.
so they begin to plot. And I will leave it at that. And we move into the silly, um, in which we, we get Angela, who would you like to set the stage, Mole? I know
So,
you're very you love this part.
so
I
I'll
did too.
I'll
It
I'll
was
set the
great.
stage. We're back outside of the HOH room, above like this little area where like there's the fish and they're chilling out. And then you have Rabina, Tucker, Brooklyn, T-Core, and Chemo. They're chilling out, right? Looking at the fish. Tucker's preparing Rabina. They decide, oh, we're all chilling here. Let's make this group official. Let's call ourselves the 5 Points Alliance. Points with a Z.
Went to the sea.
And so they're like giggling. They're like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Well, what they don't know, as the camera slowly zooms in the distance, as they're sitting on this couch that zooms in on the HOH door, there is none other than Angela laying on the ground with her ear up against the door, listening in on this conversation. She's so real for this. She's so real for this. And so she's listening. She gets up, she like dusts herself up, she like peers out and she walks up to them. And I think she has like her hands together or like they're on her legs or something like, I want to be a part of this. Walks up to them. She's like, please let me be a part of your friend group. I need to be a part of your friend group. I need to sit with people at lunch. She's like, I want to be a part of this. And nobody says anything. Crickets. They're all just like looking at the other person, hoping that someone else will say something. And finally, like, Tucker bites. He's like, yeah, okay.
I mean, I think that was warranted though, because Tucker and Angela sort of have this like underlying mutual respect for each other because of how chaotic they both are.
Mm
And so, I mean, like they probably really like each other.
hmm. Mm hmm.
I would think.
But it's just
Um,
like, Mom, I'm in front of all
but
my
it's really
friends.
funny.
You can't embarrass me like this. Everyone else is here. It was really funny. It does make sense that it was Tucker of all people to
Yeah.
say something. I kind of the whole time I was like, just say yes. Like I was really hoping someone would be like, Angela, oh my gosh, that's such a good idea. Like at least play it up a little because like I
Well,
don't know what she's thinking right now,
in
but
reality,
mhm.
I honestly think that you're kind of right because what better than to rally? Because at this point in time, the plan of the week was being discussed by them. And spoiler alert, Chemo and T-Core have been plotting this entire time to actually take out Cedric. Because what better of a plan after hearing about the Pentagon and realizing that they're in the minority here than to take out one of the strongest players for free just because he thinks he's safe with his super alliance. Um, so Chemo and T-Core are moving and schmoving. They create this 5 points alliance, and now they need votes. So why not just recruit Angela for a free vote?
Was that when they were in the bathroom and they said the really bad line where where they said that they should blow up the alliance?
Oh,
But the
that was
alliance is
that was
called
just the two of them.
that was yeah. But I feel like
We
I
should
knew they said quote they said no, I don't know the exact quote, but they said that they
Can
should blow up the
are we
Pentagon.
allowed to say that we
They because they said it, and the
they said
Pentagon is in
the
fact an
Pentagon,
alliance.
the Alliance, the
And
Pentagon
I think the way that they wrote it out too in like the subtitles, I think they
was
like
so funny.
what did they even do? Like they
I have a
split up the
photo of it.
word Pentagon just to make sure that people knew this was not in fact a threat on America. This is just a threat to five individuals in a silly little warehouse in LA. But the way that they wrote it out in the subtitles was very funny. But yeah, so Chemo and T-Core are scheming. Let me know if you find that though, because I'm gonna talk again about so that's going on, but Angela just wants to be a part of this alliance. I wish that people were a little bit more enthusiastic about it. Just like it didn't need to be authentic.
Oh my
It was just
God.
what?
Production actually asked the members of the Pentagon to come up with a new name for the Pentagon because
What?
to avoid a moment that exactly happened.
That's
This is the I'm
crazy.
gonna I will send you the clip mole.
Mm-hmm.
But this is real. Um so that they did not want they actually did not want the Pentagon for this exact reason.
Yet it happened anyway. How long
Hmm.
ago did they ask them to change it?
I'm not sure when this was,
That's so funny.
but
Oh no.
it's a live feed clip between Brooklyn and I believe Cedric and Chelsea and they're talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's for scope for those not on my computer screen right now. I hope you're not on my computer screen.
How'd you get on the
It's like,
computer
how
screen?
did you get on my computer screen?
But that's really interesting to avoid something that they just walked right into. Yikes. Well, well, oopsies. But now it doesn't matter because now we're on the 5 points. More five things.
Six
5 points.
points, I guess now.
6 points. I think they made like some other like mid name, and they're like, let's talk about it later to solidify air quotes 5 points plus Angela. I thought it would just be really funny if they named it 6 points. I hope they do.
That
I
would
will
they
refer to it as
should.
such. I thought it'd be
Six
really
points
funny.
with a Z.
And so Angela uh listens in through the door and eavesdrops her way into this new alliance, which I thought was so funny. Like she's kind of adorable for that though. Like I don't
Yeah.
like some people are totally gonna disagree with me on that. I don't care. She's real for that. I would not have the guts to do that. I thought it was
The
funny.
fact that
I
she
love
did
it.
it was so funny.
And
Yeah.
so that was my big point of the night before we get into the main occasion, which is, well, who
Irene.
who the heck is gonna go home? And thus we get into the AI arena this night. It is still Mackenzie versus Cedric versus Rabina in this AI arena. I called it the
Bars.
ball thing,
The ball thing.
but
It's called
apparently
upload and download.
apparently that's the legal name for this competition. And so essentially I'm glad that they I liked the rules. I liked this game because
Hmm.
I expected it to be one of the games where they have to toss the ball over the point and it gets to the other
Hmm.
side and they have to
To
catch it and
catch
keep
it.
going back
Yeah,
and
I
forth.
hate those ones.
They
Hate those
those
ones.
are
Those
I'm
take
on
too
there.
long though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they changed up the rules, and I like that it went along with the AI theme. I like how they've been like putting this theme into every the comps that they've been doing. They've been doing a great job with competitions this year, in my opinion, and I think
Hmm.
we share the same opinion.
Yeah,
So thank you,
for
production.
sure. Good
And
job.
so they had to push the ball up the ramp to upload, and then they had to knock it out down the ramp to download. And I thought that was a good idea. I think it's harder than it looks. I don't think I would be super successful
Mm.
in this game. But so they're showing the three players, they're moving the ball up and down. And so at some point, I think they were all kind of at a similar point. But
Not Cedric
then,
though.
but not Cedric. He was
Cedric
just kind
was
of trailing.
he was terrible at it.
Wasn't doing. I would probably do about the same as
Yeah.
Cedric was, but it was Mackenzie and Rabina that were doing really well. So they get all the balls to sit at the top, and then they start knocking it down. And then at some point, we don't really see how Mackenzie's doing, because Rabina only
Urbina
has
finishes.
one ball left, and they do a single shot on top of her gameplay. She finishes, goes to hit the buzzer, but now we're at like this three shot where Rubina
Mackenzie
hits
just
it.
teleported
Mackenzie just
her buzzer.
teleports over to the buzzer, and I think both of them are kind of celebrating for a moment before they realize that they both hit it like around the same time, but Mackenzie clearly hits it first. And
Yeah.
you only see in like this split-second shot of the three of them, where no matter
Hmm.
what, Cedric knows he's gone. He
Yeah, he's
lost
cooked.
this
He
comp.
was
He's
cooked.
completely cooked. Could not, his computer's not working, could not upload nor download these files. And so it was interesting because at this point, clearly the producers thought that
That
Rubina was going to
Urbina
win this
win.
comp. She had it in the bag. And next thing you know, Mackenzie's the winner, which I,
Mackenzie probably hit like a triple with
yeah,
one ball or something like that, which is
impressive.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Really
Were they only
impressive.
allowed to pick up two at a time? Was that like a thing? I
I
didn't
don't
see if
know.
she picked up any more than that. But Rubina only had two. But like they're small balls. You could easily fit like four in like your arms and then just start
Mhm.
like so they probably restricted it or something.
That
But
or she just went faster, and they were just so stuck on, okay, Rubina only has one left by the
yeah.
time Mackenzie maybe had a few. And so this is where I said before, the other question is, what if Mackenzie and Rubina ended at the same second? Mackenzie's really tall. She probably had to take two steps over to this buzzer, whereas
Yeah.
Rubina had to take four. So,
It's half the size of her.
like, the two of them side by side is incredible. And it's me next to most of my friends. I understand. So I wonder if maybe that played into it just a little bit,
Wouldn't be
Rubina.
surprised.
But at the same time, we didn't get to see Mackenzie's gameplay in full. Like at the last couple vital seconds, we didn't see
Hmm.
it. And so I would love to. I personally would love for Mackenzie to like talk to someone else about it and be like, "Wow, I beat her like by 1 second, and there's like a flashback in like black and white. Like I want to
Yeah.
see the footage. I want to see what happened because they were convinced that Rubina was winning. But anyway, enough about that. I ranted about that because I thought that was amazing. Boom, it's Mackenzie. They do
Kenzie
they
wins.
do the little walk down like reveal yourself, and she reveals herself, and people are clapping, but it wasn't as overwhelming as like
Yeah.
when Chemo won a couple weeks ago. It was like, yeah, you did it. Also, like it wasn't like rude, but you could tell the house was kind of like, "Oh, what now?" Because the house guests
They
up
had
for
a big decision to
elimination.
make now.
It's Cedric versus Rubina. What does the house do? And to Julie
I
Chen's
was gonna say, to Julie's dismay, they finally used their
they
time.
they finally used the like 90 seconds after they reveal the winner before Julie starts talking again to campaign. And you're seeing all the house guests talking to Cedric and Rabina. They're campaigning, they're talking about where the votes lie just before they go to vote. And Julie's like, glad to see you guys finally did it. And I'm like, it drove me crazy because they have like 30 seconds. It makes sense in a double eviction. Here, it did make a bit of sense too because
This
again,
was a
just
big decision.
hearing what I have about the house beforehand, seeing their reaction to Mackenzie winning, they it sounds like they were good to get rid of Mackenzie. And now they have to decide between Tucker's showmance and the guy who volunteered to go on the block. Well,
And what happened? We got the craziest moment of the season. I was I'm honestly kind of happy that what the things went down the way they did. Spoiler alert, they they blew up the Pentagon.
the alliance, the
The
alliance, the
Alliance.
alliance.
The Alliance, the Alliance, the Alliance, the Alliance, the Alliance. And Chemo and T-Core and Joseph. Joseph, my man, is playing the game. He flipped with Chemo and T-Core, which was all they needed to get the Pentagon into a squaragon, and we had and I thought it was interesting because Julie said by the fifth vote to remove Cedric that he was going home, but there was still two more votes and it could have been a tie balloon.
Yeah.
And she said that.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, even if there was a tie and Joseph didn't flip, then like they would have still had Angela break the tie. And
That's interesting. I didn't even put that together, but
yeah,
I
I
remember
noticed that.
after thinking that it was close if
Yeah.
a pair
Yeah. I
flip.
was doing the I was doing the math in my head beforehand when they were talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I knew that it would come down to a tie because like I was calculating like who was voting and stuff like that. And it could have been a 5-5, 10
Mm-hmm.
votes. And then Angela would have had to break the tie because she was the official HOH. I assume it wouldn't have been Quinn. No. Well, no, it wouldn't have because they had the little funny moment
My
when he
gosh.
went in the diary room.
Like it made sense because in
It did because it
theory,
was supposed to be a secret power. She said that. I just
but
thought it
the
was
whole
really
house
funny.
knew at that point, and they're like,
Yeah.
okay, what is Quinn going in there for?
I was
Whatever.
confused too, but she
Yeah.
explained it. And in the end, rest in peace to Cedric. Mm,
Big womp. For
big
me,
one.
big womp. Not just in our draft. I love Cedric. I think he's a cutie. He got evicted and he
I did like
did.
Cedric. I really did, but
Bro was
I'm
crying during his
happy.
exit interview. He tried so hard to hold it together too. Just
Yeah, it was a
Cedric.
really big blindside, but I think it'll only make the game better. As
Mm-hmm.
much as I hate to say it, now the fact that the Pentagon no longer has a
Square
majority,
gone.
it is honestly like anyone's game now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, we still have the Squaragon, but now we have all these scattered alliances, and who knows what's gonna happen between Quinn, Tikor, and Chemo now. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of game left. There's so much game left.
This is
Um,
true.
a lot of game left to play. Tonight, we're gonna find out who wins the HOH as Mole puts on
My chef
her
hat of
chef hat of
shame.
shame, and I put on my super amazing MLG sunglasses
Of
of
victory.
victory. Uh,
For draft update, this
this
is the
feels
first
good.
house guest of mine who was evicted, which still has me in the lead with the most house guests still in the house for
It's
now.
anyone's game
It is
now.
so anyone's
It is
game.
anyone's game
Maybe
still.
not Oswald's. That's such a lie. It could be Oswald's.
But very well could be Oswald because Chemo is kind of going crazy. Chemo is Oswald's anchor, and I
Crazy
would
chemo.
be fairly confident in Chemo's abilities.
And so Oswald still has chemo, Rubina, Brooklyn. I still have Tucker,
Tucker.
Mackenzie, T-Core, Angela, and Leah. And Chris,
And
you're still
I
chilling.
still have Quinn, Chelsea, Joseph, and Cam, which is a little scary now. I was feeling good, but having three members of the Pentagon feels a little iffy, I can't lie. Um,
We shall
but I
see.
still have Joseph, so.
Real. And we'll see how
Who wins the AI instigator? Is that tonight?
that's true.
Or
So it's not tonight. I believe we have until the 22nd to vote. I think they gave
ah,
us like
so it's a week of not
a week
knowing.
of voting to find out on Sunday the 25th. Off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure. So that link that's available on CBS website, but we also post important links on our Instagram at the diaryroom.wmsc because we want y'all to exercise your right to vote. And I haven't quite decided who I'm voting for yet. I'm a
Vote
little
for Joseph.
I'm a little
I want
confused.
you.
I want
I
you.
want you to vote for Joseph as the AI instigator.
I fear Quinn already had a lot of power. I feel like Tucker is already an instigator.
Yeah, I think the internet, at least from the stroll that I took through the internet, people want Joseph and Tucker
Mm-hmm.
equally to win
Huh.
with a little bit of T-core in there.
Hmm.
So we'll
Angela can't
see.
handle it. We're not
Oh
giving
yeah,
it to
Angela
Angela.
too. I think
No,
Angela would be really
she
silly.
can't handle it. She'd be giggling. She'd be like, "That is me." Like the first time, she's like, "That's not me. That is me. I did it." No, I'm thinking Tucker already instigates. I feel like T-Core would be fun. T-Core is under the radar right now.
Hmm.
I feel like Joseph would be fun as well.
Joseph would be so fun. He's already silly. He would just
Already
be
so
able to
silly.
let his silliness shine.
Well, the next time we are yapping on air, the voting will have closed. So if you haven't voted and you're hearing our voices in a week from now, what were you waiting for? We're gonna find out in a week. The heck? But for right now, we're gonna find out who won this week's HOH competition tonight. It is, in fact, an endurance wall competition.
Woo!
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 We're gonna see which house guests outlast the other house guests. Get confirmation too. I don't know if Quinn can participate?
I believe both of them are. Angela and Quinn are able to.
We're so back. It is so anyone's game.
I'm
We'll find out
I'm not
tonight.
100% sure if that's correct, but I'm
We'll find out
80%
soon.
sure that that is correct. So
In
we will
just a
find
couple
out soon.
hours. We're gonna find out who won, who participated, and then we'll start theorizing who will be on the block. All questions will be answered soon. And exercise your right to vote. America, it
Wash
is
your
up to
hands
us.
and
Wash your
listen to the
hands.
diary room.
Yippee!
Woo!
All right, we'll see you guys next week. Peace out.
Goodbye.